Hello everyone. What we're going to do today in Photopea is we're going to learn how to blur and keep things in focus in particular images. So I've already kind of selected my night here, but the first thing that we want to do, because it takes a little bit of time to do all this, so I spare you that part of the video. What I want to do is I want to duplicate this this image. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right click, and there's a few different ways you can duplicate layers. You can right click and then hit duplicate layer. And another way you can do it is if you just push Control J. That will actually do my selection. I don't actually want to do that. So I want to, if I have something selected, I'm just going to go duplicate layer like that. So I should have three complete layers that have been duplicated. And the reason that I'm doing this is I want a foreground, something in focus, which is going to be our night. I want kind of a background that's going to be out of focus, which is going to be our middle one. And then finally, I want something that's going to be in focus, which is going to be our final bottom layer right there. So once you've got this, you can use your masking tools. You can use any tool that you want. You can do a quick mask by going down below our color picker, or just by pushing Q and masking that way. Another way is you can use your lasso tools, or you can just create a mask and brush it all in. But once you have your object selected, I'm going to go into my middle layer, and actually we can hide our top layer for now. I won't change anything at all, but I'm going to go into my middle layer here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fill this layer, all this stuff where this night is, with just garbage information from my background. Okay, so I'm going to go up to Edit. I'm going to go to Fill, and I want to set the fill to content aware. And what that does is it's just going to take stuff from the image and insert it into my selection, right? So here we go. It might take a minute, but just bear with me. It might be a little pop-up even. If you do it as well, it might just take a minute. So we'll just count it down. You can go on your phone or sing a song in your head while this waits. All right, so you see there's my pop-up. I'm just going to wait again. Your computers might do this as well. But eventually this will go away, and it'll fill this entire area with just bits of my background, right? Pieces. It should show up any minute now. Come on, come on. You can do it. Don't like me at all here. Just keep waiting. The reason that we want to fill our selected area with just more information when we blur stuff, because if we were to blur things here, it would also blur our night, which means that there'd be a faint glow around him. And we don't want that, because when we blur it, it's going to, or when we blur it, we don't want that halo. We want this to be nice and crisp and clean. Jeepers. It's taking longer than I thought it would. There we go. All right, so there it is. You can see it's kind of like masked our night, right? It looks like he's invisible, has some sort of something weird's going on there, right? It looks kind of strange, which is kind of neat. So now if we bring this back, I'm going to click on my top layer again, and I'm going to hit my mask button right down at the bottom here. That, you'll see that there's a mask that appears here, and if we were to hide everything else, it would just be a perfect cutout of our night. All right. So as it is now, it looks like nothing has changed at all. But if I click on my background copy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to blur this image. So I'm going to go up to Filter, and I'm going to click on the Blur tab here, And I want to click Gaussian Blur. There's all sorts of different cool blur modes here, but Gaussian Blur is kind of your standard blur mode. It's pretty, I like it. It's good. So again, my computer seems to be being slow here, and I'm going to set this up to about maybe 30 points. It can be a little bit more, a little less. That's okay. Okay. Enter. There we go. Now you can see that everything in our image here has blurred. Right? It looks kind of blurry. But our night on our masked layer is still crystal clear. Kind of cool. So the thing is, though, is that it looks really strange that he's the only thing that's blurry or clear in a blurry picture. So what we actually want to do is we want to have this kind of effect of like things becoming in focus, right? So this is why we need this background layer, because we're actually going to add another mask to this layer. So if I go down here and I click this Add Raster Mask button, it's just going to be a pure white effect there. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gradient tool, which is kind of right in the middle of your tools here. Click on that. I'm going to set it to white and black. Remember, white reveals, black conceals. So if I click here, the top first click is going to be a white color, and the dark is going to be over here. So if I do something like that, and it's still going, there we go. So you can see it's made it blurry up here, but everywhere that there's black, it's crystal clear. So this is kind of a really neat way to do stuff. You can also play around with your gradients, right? So if you wanted to add another one, maybe our middle is going to be black and our other end is going to be white. Let's try this. Okay. So if I just sort of go right across, something like that. Take a minute. You can see that this whole pillar is going to be in focus where everything else gets blurry on the edges. So you can play around with some of these ways to kind of make things look like they've been blurred, using a lens to blur out your parts of your image. That looks pretty cool there, because I like it. Oops, I like it close to his feet. We've got to make sure that his feet are in focus around his flooring there, the ground. That looks pretty cool. So anyway, that's how you can use your blurs as well as your masks in order to make a really cool image that looks like it's kind of hazy in the background and in the foreground. Alrighty, guys, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.